Why is Hatsune Miku on a race car? I mean, that doesn't seem that surprising to me, but I don't know. Because she's very popular, I'm not surprised someone would sponsor that on a car or something. By Mr. Val 3 years ago.
Hatsune Miku is on a race car because her fans pay for her to be.
The fans, not Nixon.
Okay, I'll elaborate. Hatsune Miku is the character featured on the livery of the Good Smile Racing Team, who, every year, commission a new design of synthesizer software mascot Hatsune Miku. Fans of Hatsune Miku buy merch of this new design, including shirts, hats, and figures, and that funds the Good Smile Racing Team. When they got their start in 2008, that was a pretty rare sight. Not only the anime visuals, but also a team being funded primarily by its fans. But Good Smile was a company who had recently become experts in selling anime goods to its fans,
That's right,
so
yeah.
they bet that they could make it work. Likely prodded along by some big racing fan on the Good Smile directors board, it was decided that Good Smile would sponsor a newly formed racing team, Studi and Glad, who were looking to race in the Super GT series of races. This worked kind of well. Most of the news coverage at the time was on the Lightning McQueen car. And,
Okay.
can you blame him? But fortunately, betting on the growing Atasha scene ended up really paying off. And in 2010, Good Smile Racing was established to separate from Studi and Glad and create its own racing team. And every year since then, there's been a new Racing Miku with a few figures, 2 sizes of car models, and a whole smattering of merch sporting.
So this is where Racing Miku is from. I mean, I've seen the design and all that before, but I didn't realize it was actually linked to an actual car, basically.
Imagery, design motifs, and colors from that year's livery design. And there you have it. The history of the Good Smile Racing Team. You're free to go now if you're just looking for a Wikipedia summary. But I think that raises more questions than it answers, at least for the average person. Like, what is Super GT? What is Atasha? Out of all the characters they could have picked, why pick Hatsune Miku? Is Hatsune Miku really that big?
It is a good question, especially because they started that in like 2008 or something. And you know, I don't see that there is much like overlap between racing and a vocal aid program where you make like a synthesized voice for music. Doesn't seem to be the most connection, right? So yeah, it's kind of a random one. Some minor inaccuracies when it comes to motorsport stuff are dated, and the guy admits he doesn't know much about it. Doesn't matter that much, yeah. Okay.
Well, she's digital, so she can get scaled as large as you want. If the internet excels at one thing, it's treading water in copyright gray areas. At no point in human history has there been more access for individual people to make money off of already established intellectual properties. A law-held future where people could, individually, without a publisher, make copyrightable media. What I'm saying is that there's no way James Madison could have even imagined Mickey Mouse smut. Of course, now we found ourselves with an entire internet balanced on the razor's edge of legal technicalities. But for a while, it was the wild, wild west. People weren't sure if the internet was just going to be a fad or not. And as they spent their sweet time deciding, the computer fans of middle school laptops across the world whirred away under the incredible power of Windows Movie Maker and a couple Google image searches. Anime music videos. They're not the only thing that fans of anime made, but they were the most accessible. They're a shorter time
I think the most accessible was just fan art.
commitment than a full fanfiction novella, so people were more willing to watch them and show them to their friends. And they take less effort to make than a fully blown fan animation, so served as a great entry point into making fan works. But you've seen them before. They're the fan internet's equivalent of basketball sizzle reels. You might see them as cringy or as cool, or a really contrarian combination of both, but they were vital in fostering the act of making things for the sake of fandom. It's not hard to trace a path from anime music videos to fan cams.
I wish I'd gotten more into it. I mean, I was into it very early on when I got onto the internet, like 2011 and 12. And as I said before, the first time I posted on YouTube was like a Sword Art Online AMV in 2012. And I did a few more for the rest of the year. But after that, I never really cared about AMV again. To this day, I mean, I do respect them. I do respect that there really can be like an artistry to it in the way it's edited and stitch together and sing to the music. But I don't know. I've never felt like, since then, I've never felt like watching them that much, you know? Yeah. Yeah. It's one of those things where like, it could be cool to do like an AMV reaction stream, but obviously I don't think I need to tell you guys that that would be the end of the channel, copyright-wise. So yeah, it's just one of those things where like, I never fully got into it. And I know it's still kind of alive in some way, but yeah.
Personally, I don't think it matters if something someone made is good or bad. It's just cool to see people putting creative energy towards things that they're big fans of. And ever since the internet, it's incredibly easy to find those things. Sometimes you don't even have to look for them. They just appear on your feed. But before the days of blogs and forums, the only way to find other fans of things you like was through conventions. Conventions like Comiket. Comiket is one of the largest and oldest fan conventions, and more so than other fan conventions, its main focus is fanworks. Nowadays, that kind of comes with the territory of a fan convention, having an artist alley full of fan art and novels and stuff, but Japanese fan conventions led the way in fostering the self-publishing of fanworks. And that's because, in Japan, fanfiction is a-okay, in both a legal and a cultural sense.
There's a great anime that I recommend and manga called Genshiken. It's a good look into the old culture of otaku, not like the more modern one, but like the one from the 90s, very early 2000s. It's basically about like a club of otaku in a college, basically, and their activities. But it's kind of like, you know, again, like late 90s, early 2000s, so it's kind of before the more modern version of it with the internet and all that. And the forums and all that, yeah. It's pretty good.
Creators of stories generally see it as a form of flattery and very clearly not in competition with the original property. Like, of course your high school AU isn't going to be mistaken for the actual anime. So that naturally is the stance that Japanese fans took in the transition from conventions to internet.
Which is always weird, right? Because we all know how weird Japanese copyright stuff can be, right? They can be pretty extreme. And yet, they're a country with the, you know, the dodging fan media culture, right? And yet, on the other hand, like, you have people on YouTube who, like, get taken to court for, like, uploading, like, you know, visual novel gameplay and stuff like that, right? It's so interesting. 2026 Miku car livery was revealed last week. Sharing Discord, yeah. Okay. Let's take a look. Image picture. Okay, pretty cute, yeah. Pretty cute. Kind of smug Miku. I like it. I like it. No, wrong video.
Internet forums. Western anime fan culture grew to reflect Japanese fan culture, and being one of the earliest and importantly loudest forms of fandom in the wild, wild west days of the internet, it could be argued that people who moved from anime culture to other newer fandoms tended to bring with them the culture present in anime fandoms. That's not to say that fanworks are exclusive to anime culture. I mean, nowadays, fandom is almost synonymous with its fanworks. You don't have the K-pop fandom without fan cams. You have Undertale fandom without fan games. You don't have Five Nights at Freddy's fandom without lore videos. You don't have Harry Potter fandom without author insert isekai fanfiction that delicately steps around the racism landmines J.K. Rowling planted in there. But it's not hard.
That's probably not the only landmine.
Hard to trace modern fan culture, at least partially, to its roots in anime music videos. Whether someone's first exposure to Minecraft was through a Let's Play, or it's the first in 25 Kingdom Hearts videos they're going to watch that evening, fan content is arguably one of the biggest forms of grassroots accidental advertising for a fandom. And so when all of a sudden, this blue-haired anime character started appearing in thousands of different music videos and fan art from all across the internet, it's not hard to see how it would drive at least a little bit of interest in Hatsune Miku. But it wasn't just a little bit of interest. It was a lot of interest. The internet loved Hatsune Miku. Hatsune Miku was about to become a character driven by fandom. And I don't mean that in like a fan theories.
I guess in a way, like, Vocaloid is the second coming of Toho, basically. In a sense of like, Toho became big, but like 90% of people didn't care about the games. They only cared about the character, the fan art, and the fan work, right? Which always became bigger than the games. And in a way, like, Vocaloid kind of became the same, maybe. I mean, maybe not to the same level, right? I still think there would be a lot of people listening to the music, but, you know, people got more into, like, the character, the fan art, the dodging, the fan stories, and stuff like that, yeah, than just the making music with a synthesized voice.
Influence the writers kind of way. I mean that in as direct a way as possible. Hatsune Miku is in the Creative Commons. In 2007, Krypton Future Media released a vocal synthesis software built using Yamaha's already existing Vocaloid technology. This was to be the first in a series of character-oriented vocal synthesis engines, with marketing efforts initially only focused towards professional musicians. But when a magazine that included a Miku demo did,
which is like weird when you think about it. I mean, it makes so much sense that this would actually be aimed at, like, you know, people on their computer who have like no one to make music with, but now they have this software, right? Rather than professional musicians who have probably the connection, the studio, and the people, right?
this kept selling out, it started to dawn on them the true power that Hatsune Miku had. Because Krypton Future Media just attached a fandom-worthy character to a tool for making fan content. That's like including a stone with every purchase of 2 birds. And that fandom worthiness was in no small part thanks to Hatsune Miku's character designer, Kei.
Which again, when you think of it, it's so interesting because like the only thing that's great about Miku in the first place is like her design, right? Beyond that, she has like no common backstory. Like there's nothing emotional like that to get attached to in the first place in the base, right? Then obviously you can get that in all the fan work, but yeah, it's just the character design that was great. And then people got the emotional attachment to all the different fan work and the different story that she was involved in. But there's no like common thing, right? I mean, when I think of Hatsune Miku, she's a blank character, right? I mean, there's not one thing that's like the canon of it, yeah.
Designed around the visuals of Yamaha's synthesizers, and with a brief that boiled down to essentially an android from the future, Kei made an incredibly recognizable and iconic character. According to a 2007 interview, while there was a lot of back and forth over Miku's design, the general silhouette was decided early on, those iconic twin tails. She was designed purposefully as a blank slate to make room for fan interpretations. So they actually scaled back plans for an official story or more grandiose design choices, choosing instead to release only simple biographical information. Miku's creators knew that Miku was going to thrive the most when they supported and accepted the fan community with open arms. It also helps that she's, again, a synthesizer. It would be weird if Korg just pretended that the music that their customers made didn't exist. But Krypton would, over the next couple years, take it many steps further, with the creation of a Miku-oriented sharing platform called Pia Pro, the official licensing of fan-made Miku songs, and an incredibly open character usage license, leading the way for the self-published fan content monsoon that was about to happen. And in...
I mean, it's the smart way to do it, right? Like, you know, Hideaki Anno kind of did the same thing with Evangelion, right? I mean, obviously the thing was very popular in the first place, but, you know, many anime IP, even if popular, they don't get, like, list starts to everybody like that, and yet Evangelion, you know, he basically just gave like a carte blanche to anybody and anything to use Evangelion stuff as long as they pay. And so it's literally like everywhere, right? In good, in bad, but literally everywhere, and like never forgotten. It's the way to do it.
The first full circle moment of the video, Kei's first big break, happened at Comic-Con 2004. So timed perfectly with an explosion of otaku culture in America, as copyright holders fought YouTube and LimeWire, Krypton gave creative internet users the keys to a shiny new car, and they ran with it, drove with it. She was versatile. Within a year, over 30,000 songs were made with Miku. She was fan-driven. There was no source material. Fan content was the material. She was accessible. Just 6 months after her release, a free tool called Miku Miku Dance made it incredibly easy for anyone to make a 3D animated music video. She was cute and self-explanatory. She was viral. Triple Baka, World is Mine, and Melt placed her time and time again in the eyes and ears of people all across the internet. Hatsune Miku was everywhere, and she continues to be everywhere. Miku survived the internet's hardest challenge, not being a flash in the pan. I don't think it's too much of a claim to make that 80% of people who are involved in fan culture on the internet are at least aware of Hatsune Miku. Perhaps it's previous Miku stans adopting new fandoms and sharing that passion, or Miku.
I mean, yeah, tall characters, vocaloid characters, I mean, even if you have no intention of touching any of it, you just cannot escape seeing it.
Dance as an easy medium to create and share 3D characters. Maybe it's the fact that she made media rounds in the early 2010s as one of the first internet things to do so. Or the simple fact that she's a well-known, baggage-free, anime-styled character. All of the punch of referencing a celebrity with none of the real-world weight that brings. You don't have to worry about your joke aging poorly because some poor PR person didn't stop Tony Hawk from doing an NFT line. Hatsune Miku,
Even Tony Hawk. I mean, all the celebrities have done it. Even the respectable one, they just do it.
Most is a default anime character because she's just part of the fundamental set of internet things. Up there with Rickrolling, memes about comparing things, and funny cartoon faces. By referencing Miku, one can avoid being outed as the lifelong One Piece fan they are, and instead just insert Miku into any scenario. She just kind of fits. It also definitely helps that you can make her say whatever you want. Most characters on the internet carry with them the baggage that their own source has. But for Hatsune Miku, most people's only tie to her source is the internet itself. And they're not really wrong, her source is kind of the internet. Hatsune Miku is, by design, a blank slate to be projected on, a primal, open character fueled for and by its fans. Hatsune Miku is the platonic ideal.
Which again, yeah, when I was making comparison to other thing, I guess that is really like the ultimate standard thing about this absolute blank slate that everybody can use. That's really interesting.
Of a fandom. So I think that it's no surprise that when Good Smile was deciding what would best represent the huge pool of fan communities they made merch for, they chose Hatsune Miku.
That explains it.
Oh, hold on. I'm getting a signal. I gotta do a pit stop. Oh god. Oh my god. How long was I talking about Hatsune Miku for? Let me know when I'm doing that. You have to stop me. I will talk forever about Hatsune Miku.
It was interesting.
Okay, let's talk about the second part of the equation, the car. So, coming into this video, I had no idea practically anything about motorsports or cars or what have you. So, I want to try and get you up to speed to where I am on what Super GT is. Super GT is the racing series that Good Smile Racing is in, and it's pretty different than most other motorsports. It's designed from the bottom up to be more of an exciting event than a pure numbers competition. It's designed to use more common, affordable car parts, so teams can't just outspend each other. That sounds like a dig on other racing competitions. I don't really know car words to make it not sound like that. Well, maybe this can help us. Look at this. This is on the official Super GT page, and I think it sets the tone pretty well. If you're interested, we'll put a link to it somewhere. You can peruse it for yourself. But here's some highlights. Super GT is Japan's premier touring car series, featuring heavily modified production cars. One of the greatest appeals of Super GT truly lies in cars of various specs competing against each other. High-performance sports cars and sedans, completely different types of vehicles, can be mixed together in a single race. Yeah, sure, why not? Honestly, why not? This part talks about the feedback loop for slowing down cars that are unexcitingly dominating the rest of the competition. They call it success ballast. And that isn't that unlike Mario Kart. Half of this booklet is about the fun of being at the raceway, and then the other half is about the logistical details of Super GT, including tires and cars, and even a role description of the team members on a Super GT team. Tag yourself. Oh, and look, there's the Racing Queens. Every team has them, and they're the reason that Miku has a new racing design.
Cosplayers too, yeah.
Here in the back, there's advertisements for the main sponsors of the event, including Gran Turismo 6. Super GT truly is the gamer's motorsport. It's often described as being more exciting than other racing series. The father of drifting, Kunimitsu Takahashi, not only participated in and won Super GT before it was renamed in 2004, but is also the chairman of the association that organizes Super GT. And drifting is cool. Famously starring in Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift, drifting is another car thing that's big in Japan. Drifting, while not like integral to Super GT, kind of sets the tone for what the series feels like. So I guess that's why Etasha cars fit right in there. If you're not...
ExoticBankai also created a motorsport team. I am not surprised. I am not surprised.
Familiar with the term, you're probably familiar with the look. Etasha is the act of putting anime stickers on your car. Usually it's more talking about the full commitment of wrapping
Girls and Panzer cars.
But sometimes...
You know, the true Chad move is not to do a Girls and Panzer car. It's to buy an actual tank and make an Etasha tank. I mean, that's probably like the highest level, yeah? Formula Drift Japan and CPR Taikyu.
Usually it's more talking about the full commitment of wrapping the entire car, but sometimes it's more generally just anyone who puts things they're fans of on their car. The scene used to mainly be in Japan, but nowadays it's not uncommon to see a Sailor Moon sedan or a One Piece car. Usually they're made fun of because, haha.
I have never seen an Etasha in France. I mean, the equivalent is like, you know, people would have like a racing car with, you know, like flame design and stuff like that, but does it really count as an Etasha? I don't know.
Anime girl, no life. But they don't really care. They didn't wrap their car for you. It's the peak of personal expression. It's the bold acceptance of, and by proxy, removal of embarrassment. Wearing on your sleeve that the
Turbo, that's perfect.
Things you're a fan of is what makes you an individual. It's also expensive as Etasha isn't really for the traditional car tuner. After all, it's a multi-$1,000 investment in your car that doesn't gain any performance or speed improvements.
But you gain some Oda, you know.
But in motorsports, wrapping your car with a sponsor's imagery can actually gain you a good chunk of change to put towards performance improvements. So in the natural progression of outperforming your competitors, we began to see car wraps move from individual car company logos to eye-catching, conversation-starting, Taylor Swift up.
You know, obviously, you know, I'm a fan of it, but I do really feel like that Etasha looks so much better than sponsored car in like NASCAR, for example, because the sponsored car, like in NASCAR, they have so much logos and it's just like ugly. But Etasha, they actually made it to be aesthetic and, you know, not like too much. So I don't know. I mean, I'm sure some people would call Etasha cringe, but I don't see how it's like any worse than like the regular sponsored car that you see in so many leagues, where like they're just a shit ton of like stickers of different logo of different brands, right? I don't know. At least with Etasha, again, like there's an actual drive toward making a good aesthetic. I don't know.
On a car, full body wraps. And so in Japan, where Etasha is a little bit more common, and thanks in part to Super GT, but more largely thanks to the general culture around there, Etasha wraps started to look a little bit more like Racecar wraps. Racecar wraps started to look a little bit more like Etasha wraps, until all of a sudden, what's that? Good Smile's got a Hatsune.
But this feels like a bit much, right? Because yeah, like you've got the nice image of Miku, but then like you've got all the other logos on the side, no? Just kind of like stacked over each other. It feels kind of like, yeah.
Miku Etasha. Etasha is a community you introduce yourself.
I guess you gotta get paid.
The moment you wrap your car and finger gun acknowledge the guy across the
This looks good.
with a Guargura wrap.
Good
It's
enough.
the community you envelop yourself in, the moment you take part in the age-old tradition of bringing your car to a car show. only this time, it's with other Itasha enthusiasts.
Would you guys do it? Like, if you had the money, would you do it? Would you, like, modify your car to be an Itasha? And what character would you use? I was actually thinking about it, like, if I was rich, like, fuck it, I'd do it. But, like, I have no idea what I would put on it. I don't know if I would do, like a single character sim car, you know? I feel like I would have, like, multiple characters or something. But I don't know what I would do. It would have to be a mix of, like, favorites, right? I don't know, like, Shinobu from Monogatari with, I don't really know, like, what would I mix it with? With Miku, why not? It would really be some kind of, like, ultimate crossover, yeah?
It's a mixing pot of fandoms, all unified by one interest. It's
meta fandom.
You would do it?
So, it's just poetically perfect, isn't it? That Hatsune Miku would end up Itasha on a car? I mean, Hatsune Miku, who's an incredibly accessible character by and for fans, wrapped in Itasha styling, a movement by the world's most unabashed fans, in a race which is designed from the ground up to be accessible.
Does she win, though? We haven't talked about that, but does that car ever win?
So, really, the question is, why isn't Hatsune Miku on a car? Hatsune Miku is a marketing tool that took the world by storm. But thanks to incredibly passionate fans and creatives, she transformed into a symbol of creativity, a voice for the people. And the Good Smile Racing team stands as a testament to the versatility she has as a character, and the power that fostering fandom can have in a world filled with copyright nickel and diming. I forgot even to mention that Good Smile Racing is the second most successful team in the history of the GT300 class.
Well,
in just a couple years, they snagged a championship title, and after an unprecedented 2 additional wins, they settled in as a genuinely formidable team. That's the power of Hatsune Miku, baby!
I'm sure that's what it is.
Hatsune Miku! And also the drivers and team behind Good Smile Racing. They might have something to do with it. They might be the ones who actually won the race. Who's to say?
Yeah, because like this is becoming the Mother Goose thing from Racecar, right? People giving credit to the Vocaloid rather than the producer. People giving credit to Miku rather than the racer. Let's not do it, or Racecar is gonna rise from his grave.
Hatsune Miku proves time and time again that she's not going anywhere. Or rather, fans of Miku, both participating and passive, prove that she's not going anywhere. Look no further than VTubers and Hyperpop for the impact she continues to make on the internet. A race car is just one of the many contexts that Hatsune Miku finds herself in. A meeting of topics which on the surface don't seem related, but on further inspection are much more related than you'd think, especially with an idea as far-reaching as Hatsune Miku. Hatsune Miku is on a race car because her fans wouldn't have it any other way.
Which this probably explain a lot of other places that you wouldn't expect, but she is on or something, yeah? That's the reason.
Hey, that's the end of the video. Thanks so much to my patrons.
Okay, I'll pause here. Very good video. A lot of stuff that I knew, but also a lot I didn't. And also definitely made me think about that fact, you know, like, I mean, I've already come to really appreciate Vocaloid, Miku, and all that, right? But I don't think I had ever really thought about how uniquely interesting Miku is. Now, obviously, there's probably a lot of, like, other IP characters out there who have the same system of, like, you know, anybody can use it and it's okay for copyright and all that, right? But to the level of popularity as Miku, I don't really know. I mean, I guess maybe like when a Disney character becomes public domain kind of thing, right? Maybe like there might be something bigger, but beyond that, yeah, it's truly like a kind of unique thing, and it's pretty damn awesome. There's comparison to Toho and other like massive franchise very open to fan work, you know, but yeah, it's still very much its own thing, and it's pretty amazing. No doubt. Very good video, very good. Yeah, I've never really thought seriously of having an Itasha. Like the most I've ever done was having like some magical visual novel about like a physical edition of it, and as a pre-order bonus, that was like years ago, there was like little keychain acrylics thing of the characters, and I put them on my car keys for a couple of years. That's the most anime stuff that I had in my car, basically. That was it. Yeah, that was about it. Okay, great video.